Bible where you read that he knew his wife, okay? When I was a kid, I said, oh, big deal. So he knew her, amen. And then I found out that it was a biblical euphemism that they had sex. And I was like, wow. And I was going back through the Bible and said, there's a lot of stuff going on in this book, okay? And you see the similar concept found where it's the phrase from Matthew 19, verse number 6, where it says that the two will become one. The two become one flesh. What are they talking about? They're talking about sex again. For sex to be all God intended for it to be, it has to occur in a marriage relationship based on mutual devotion, mutual respect, mutual communication, and absolute loyalty one to the other. You know, back in 1 Corinthians 7, verse number 3, it tells us that a man should fulfill his duty as a husband. A wife should fulfill her duty as a wife. And each should satisfy the other's needs. Now, I pulled this out last night. I showed it to Brenda just to make sure she thought it was copacetic. Amen, because I'm a guy. So, God's point of view, okay? But I found this guy, Dr. Willard Harley. He's a marriage counselor from Minnesota. He's been a marriage counselor for years and years and years. Wrote a lot of books. In fact, one of the books that I found, amen, that I kind of liked it was called His Needs, Her Needs. Amen. So you can check it out. Amen. Somebody heard about. Yep. But this guy's been practicing for years, and during the course of his practice, he's interviewed maybe tens of thousands of couples and arrived at the top 5 needs. Drum roll, please. Where's John? Drum roll. Top 5 needs of husbands. Top 5 needs of women in a marriage relationship. Okay? So, here's the first top 5 needs of men. Okay? Should we start number 5 and work it backwards? That'd probably be cool. Amen. We'll save the best for last. See if you can guess what it is. Number 5 is admiration and respect. It's number 5. Number 4, domestic support. Because a lot of us, we can't sew, we can't cook, and we're just total hogs. Okay? Number 3 is an attractive spouse. Number 2 is recreational companionship. Does anybody want to guess what number 1 is for guys?
Sex.
Oh, you guys are good. Sexual fulfillment. Okay?
What age group was that?
Oh my. It's just the top 5, not necessarily not it. I know you want a fishing companion right now, Scott. We'll pray for you. Scott asked what age group was that. All right. 5 needs, top 5 needs of women. Counting them backwards. Number 5. Family commitment. Number 4. I'm going to break you guys' heart this morning. Number 4. Financial support. Number 3. Honesty and openness. Number 2. Conversation. Number 1, affection. Sorry guys, sex wasn't even on the top 5.
What if you do that, right?
Do you see any similarities between these lists? No! There isn't any. Is it any wonder that we have so much trouble adjusting to each other in marriage? We try to meet the needs that we think they have, but they're not their needs. They're our needs, okay? And so we end up frustrating each other and getting on each other's nerves because their needs, guys, do you see that their needs are totally different than your needs? Okay? And the women, they already knew what your number 1 was before we even got started. Amen. The secret to a great marriage is to get serious, and this is especially to you guys. You need to get serious about learning your spouse's needs and determine and make up in your mind that you're going to meet them to the best of your ability. You're going to botch it, I know you are, but do the best that you possibly can, even if they're not the same as your needs. And they're not. Marital breakups almost always occur when either one or both of the partners just totally do not have the skills or the awareness to meet the other spouse's needs. And now it has become so powerful and all-consuming that it just swallows everything up. They're not the same needs. Needs keep score with relentless precision. You have a spouse that have a need that's not being met. Amen. When it says love does not keep score, amen, I'm telling you, there's a scoreboard going on. Okay? Let's talk about the love bank. Love bank. Each of us has a love bank. Whether you know it or not, you have a love bank. Your love bank contains many different accounts. One account for each person that you know in your life. Each person in your life is either making deposits into their account in your love bank, or they are making withdrawals. Pleasurable interactions with a person counts as a deposit. When they hurt you or totally tick you off, they made a withdrawal from your love bank. And as life goes on, people's accounts are going to fluctuate up and down. You're going to end up with people, amen, or staying in the black. You're going to end up with people who went totally in the red in their love bank account, amen, because they cause you more pain than anybody else in your life. Now, the accumulation determines your emotional response to everyone that you know, even though you're not even aware of it. Amen. What's going on in your love bank is going to affect how you handle everybody else in your life. And in marriage, there are two love banks. There's his and there's hers. Okay? They each bring their own love bank. Now, a person's 5 basic emotional needs, and we just went over them. They're different for men and women. Okay? They're different. That person's 5 basic emotional needs are so demanding to the point that if any one of them go unmet in the home, that spouse then becomes vulnerable to temptation when they're outside the home of the affair. So guys, what I'm telling you, when she wants to talk, you better sit and listen. Because if you don't, somebody else will. Amen. And they're going to be making deposits in your wife's love bank account. Amen. And it's not going to be good for you. Amen. You see where I'm going with this. And here's the tragic result. It's almost certain that someone outside the marriage begins making those deposits and fulfill the need that's not being met within the marriage. And because people don't understand. A lot of people just go through their marriage and they go through their life and they don't know. And they're working against each other, working at cross purposes. You know, I'm still learning myself. Come on. And he's trying to fulfill the needs that he or she feels that their mate isn't just catching on with it for whatever reason. For example, let me give you an example. A wife finds it real easy to shower their husbands with affection. Amen. But that doesn't score high with us. Okay? Because why do women want to do that? Because that's what they would appreciate that we would do for them. They want it so much themselves that they do it to the guys. And on the other hand, what do us guys do? As soon as we get home, we want to smother them out with sexual advances and saying, "Are the kids taking a nap?" Okay? And we just totally smother them out. Why? Because that's what's on our mind when we get home. Okay? It becomes confusing at best when the mate responds, okay, with the way that they want to be met, okay, and the other mate's getting irritated, okay. I know I'm walking on eggshells. Pray for them, okay. And listen, we don't have times, or neither do I even want to get into this morning about all these needs, but we're going to lock into the number 1 in each category, okay. We're going to lock into the affection one for the women. And we're going to lock into the sexual fulfillment for the guys. Because these combined end up causing more adulterate affairs than any of the other ones. Okay? This is the conflict that leads to an affair. So we're going to look mostly from a man's perspective.